The older I get, the better I was. Quote from Bob Roberts in 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Bob Roberts. Bob Roberts scored 2 touchdowns in his very first high school football game. Preseason comments about the 155-pound halfback, a first-year man who has the ability of a second-year gridster with a never-give-up spirit. Bob hails from a long line of Roberts players. He and the Marshall County High School Wildcat football players at the start of 1942 wore leather helmets with no face mask, later switching to the plastic type. Roberts played both offense and defense and was considered a triple threat who could run, pass, and kick. Here they are, the 1942 Wildcats, players, cheerleaders, and coach. From left to right on the front row, number 27, Ray McClendon, number 40, Jack Pritchett, number 38, Thurl Scruggs, number 39, Nelson Williams, number 20, Elston Garrison, number 33, Robert Ingalls, on the far right, J.P. Green. Second row, left to right, number 26, Cam Glover, number 41, Ray Hubble, number 31, Harold Clark, number 30, Med Bartlett, number 22, Bob Roberts, number 25, W.B. Perkins, also a star basketball player, and number 37, Robert King. On the third row, left to right, standing tall with no number, Bobby Clayton, number 36, Bobby Pickens, number 35, Billy Jolly, number 34, Martin Ditto, number 21, Norman Bunch. Next, number 22, Billy Lassiter, number 36, Roger Hyde, number 24, Ed Roberts, brother to Bob, number 41, Pete Duncan, and Coach W.R. McKenzie. The cheerleaders on the back row, left to right, Lois White Isbell, Helen Heath Miller, Nell Dyer, and Geraldine Raines. Nelson Williams, number 39, and Norman Bunch, number 21, from Union Grove, had free room and board at the Marshall County Jail throughout the week and went home on the weekends. Sheriff Zeke Boyles also furnished John Med Bartlett, number 30, W.B. Perkins, number 25, and Elston Garrison, number 20, from Nixon's Chapel. He furnished them an automobile to play football for MCHS. The 42 Wildcats finished with only one loss, and that single loss was to Faultville. Notice these impressive scores over the county rivals: over Arab 20-0, over Boaz 35-6, and over Albertville 25-7. With the win over Albertville, the Wildcats had won 23 of their last 29 games. Plus, they had good solid wins over Aniana, Fort Payne, Scottsboro, and Etowah in 1942. This was the only season for Coach W.R. McKenzie, leaving MCHS after an 8-1 record. The starters of 1942 that helped get young Bob Roberts off to a great varsity start, and they laid the groundwork for the All-State honors the following year. What a great year for the team, 8-1. Left to right across the line at right end, number 27, Ray McClendon, the longtime tax collector and radio personality. Right tackle, number 40, Jack Pritchett, longtime NASA employee in retirement at his home near Rabbit Town. We asked Jack what game he remembers most. His quick reply, the loss to Faultville. That was the only loss for the season, and Pritchett said this about Bob Roberts: Bob was small, really something, a real good player. Odell Long, a teammate of Jack's from the 1941 season, said of Jack Pritchett, he was big, a robust country boy, all elbows and knees, a lot bigger than he is today. He would kill running backs. I'll never forget a big hit that he put on Soki Walden in practice. At right guard, Thurl Scruggs, number 38. Nelson Williams was the center. Nelson was also a pretty good punter. In the Aniana game, he punted the ball out twice on the 3-yard line in a 12-6 win. Nelson went on to play at Jacksonville State and then had a career with NASA. He lives in retirement at Union Grove. Left guard, number 20, Elston Garrison. Left tackle, number 33, Robert Ingalls. Left end, number 37, Robert King. Left to right in the backfield, the right halfback is number 22, Bob Roberts. Fullback, number 30, Med Bartlett. Number 21, quarterback, Norman Bunch. And the left half, number 28, on the right side, J.P. Green. In 1943, on a winless team, Bob made first-team All-State, and with him in the backfield was Harry Gilmer of Woodlawn, who went on to fame at the University of Alabama and in the pros. There were only 11 players from around the state of all size schools to make up that first team All-State. And notice on the third team, the bottom right side, the fourth player from the bottom on the right, J.D. Reynolds of Arab. The late Dr. J.D. Reynolds of Arab would be a second-team All-State the next year in 1944. Marshall County for 2 years had Roberts and Reynolds leading the way for running backs in the state of Alabama. Coach Russell Red Garrett, one of the many Garrett brothers from Albertville. They were all Aggies, and later they coached, and Coach Red Garrett for this one tough season at MCHS. For the first time since 1919, the Wildcats finished the season without a win. And twice the Wildcats played Albertville, and both times lost by a combined 7 points, 18-19 and 6-0. And while you look at the rosters for 1943, we talked with number 59 for the Albertville Aggies, retired attorney T.J. Carnes. This Aggie quarterback lives in retirement in his hometown of Albertville. T.J. said that he didn't get a plaque or he didn't get an award for it, but he made an open field tackle on Bob during one of the kickoff returns. Carnes' comment about Bob Roberts: quick turns and speed. T.J. Carnes' book, Out of the Sand, has been one of our sources for searching the history of sports in Marshall County. Captain Bob Roberts, now 155-pound halfback, led the 1944 Wildcats to a 6-3 record and 2 wins each over Albertville and Boaz. The dual wins over both schools were possible because of gas rationing due to World War II. Coach John Tyson's Wildcats, like many other teams, played nearby teams twice, the same as the year before. The starters averaged 155 pounds, and the positions were noted to the left of the names. Alternate captain Paul Adams would go on to play at Jacksonville State and later coach and teach down in Florida. R.B. Burke worked in veterinary medicine. Tony Daniel played at Jacksonville State and later coached at Albertville, Hartselle, and in Florida. He is the uncle to Brent and Richard Lusk. Bruce Long was killed in Korea. J.T. Beer Walls was a brother to Coach Tom Walls. Tom was the coach at Auburn and Gunnersville. Misspelled cheerleader name at the top right, Sarah Hayden Bogus, the wife of the longtime Wildcat team Dr. John Bogus. Her son John today serves as the team doctor and on the Gunnersville City School Board and a sideline reporter for our radio broadcast. John Hawes at 174 pounds was the biggest starter. Bob Brown at 182 pounds was the biggest player on the team. This is the newspaper ad the week of the MCHS Albertville game. Thanksgiving entertainment at its best. Bob ended his high school career on Thanksgiving Day, scoring 3 touchdowns and an extra point in a 20-6 win over Albertville. This Western Union was sent by Coach John Tyson to Zip Newman. See the name in the upper left, Zip. He was the sports writer for the Birmingham News. Gunnersville defeats Albertville. Gunnersville led by Captain Bob Roberts, All-State halfback, defeated Albertville Thursday afternoon, 20-6. Roberts finished up his high school career by scoring 3 touchdowns and added 1 extra point. The first score came on a 22-yard dash around left end midway through the second quarter. Albertville came back on a drive led by Jolly to score just before the half and trailed 7-6 at halftime. Roberts scored again in the third quarter on an off-tackle smash from the 5-yard line. The final touchdown by Roberts came on a reverse off right tackle, good for 12 yards in the final quarter. In addition to Roberts, Adams, Brown, Daniel, Walls, and Burke were outstanding. For Albertville, Jolly and Chafin were best. Roberts, with already enough credits to graduate, was given a scholarship by Auburn coach Carl Voiles. The Monday following the Albertville game, Bob enrolled at Auburn. Before he could play a snap in college, the military called him for World War II. On January the 30th, 1945, he and Kitty Cornelius of Gunnersville were married, and 9 days later, he was in the U.S. Army Air Corps. Young Bob and his family lived on a farm in Browns Valley. He was one of 11 boys and 17 children born to Mr. and Mrs. Lon Roberts. 4 decades of Wildcat football were represented in this gathering to hear Bob talk about Wildcat football during the war years. On the front row, Nelson Williams, Ray Hubble, Melton LeCroy, Bob Roberts, and Lowell Moultrie. Moultrie played for Albertville in 1944 and 45. On the back row, as we go left to right, Odell Long, Bud Moore of the undefeated 1933 Wildcats, James Swords, Jack Pritchett, and Raymond Weaver. A graduate of LSU, he started his own construction company in Gadsden, Bob still works. However, his son Robin runs the business. Bob was one of 6 brothers in various branches of construction. This dedicated family man and scoutmaster was nominated for the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame by 2 of his Wildcat teammates, Raymond Punch Whitaker and Martin Ditto. And here's Bob with the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, from the leather helmet era of football to the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame, our inductee, Bob Roberts.
I'm pretty short. I hope I got to the mic this time. I don't know what to think, really. I'm really confused whether I got this plaque because I was a good football player, or the folks from Albertville wanted to retell the fact that we lost every game. I suspect that was
Good player, good player.
I think T.J. Carnes was behind that.
I think well, he told me just to speak an hour. I want to be sure I don't leave out somebody. I've got a lot of people to be thankful for. Thank the board first for giving me this. And, well, I hate to admit it, but I have to look with my glasses. And I want to thank my sponsors, Martin Ditto, Odell Long, Punch Whitaker, and Bill Harris. Punch Whitaker and Bill Harris have passed away, but Randy's here tonight. Speaking of my family, I think I'm the ugliest. I never could read good. It says I'm the luckiest man alive. Instead of lucky. Both of them's true. I'm the luckiest. But my Kitty's given me 61 years of happiness, and I've had 4 children. One, the oldest one, Don, he's been dead 13 years, but he was a computer genius before there was such a thing at Auburn. They had to carry it to the engineering department, not the architect. He was an architect. And then next to my youngest daughter, Kathy, she's an artist. And then Robin, he's a businessman, and Leanne is I call it a farm body. She loves to farm. And we have 9 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. Bill was about to steal my thunder on Nelson Williams. In the spring training of my first year of football, I weighed every bit of 150 pounds, and Nelson Williams was the biggest fellow on the team, and he played tackle. And never will forget it, I was supposed to run over behind the tackle, and this is my first time to play ball. Well, there's 11 people there, right there where I'm running. And so I closed my eyes and I just dive into it. Well, he separated them, and it was open, and I just tripped and fell on my face. Well, that happened about 3 or 4 times. And I learned then never to close your eyes, no matter what's happening. Look for open spots to run to. Also, we had a lot of great players on that team. I can't get all of them, I'm sure, but Thurl Scruggs, Jack Pritchett, Robert King, and J.P. Green, and a number more. We had a pretty good team that year. The next year, most all of the boys, in fact, we got in the service. In other words, they was drafted, and frankly, I was about the only one that had played ball before. Well, I want to tell you about the first ball game of that season that we didn't win any. One of the instances. Old Irvin Bolden, named called Puss, he was always kidding one, likable fellow, and he was a lifelong friend of mine. But he was another tackle, and he went to we was running our plays, and that opposing tackle, he would come through and hit me, tackle me right quick. He did 2 or 3 times, and I finally told Puss, I says, you've got to get that man out. I says, he's killing me. And he looked at me, and he's always the lonesomest cow look you ever saw. Well, Bob, I thought I was doing pretty good. Says, this is not only the first ball game I ever played in, it's the first one I've ever seen. Yeah, that's the truth. And he would rather tell it than me. I do want to say though that from those years, there were some great players developed. They went to Jacksonville, and they were practically made the teams at Jacksonville right after the war. Billy Hugh Hudson, who's in the Hall of Fame, he was one of them. Paul Adams, Tony Daniels, and let's see, 2 or 3 others made real good ball players for Jacksonville, and then went and coached the rest of their lives. They were real good players. Okay, in December of '44, my last year, I went to Auburn on a football scholarship. I received my call to the Air Force in January. In other words, I was there January. And I was called into service. When I went into service, I was going and I decided, well, why crackers, I better go back to Gomersville and marry that pretty girl, Kitty Cornelius. Married her January the 30th. So I was pretty busy. When I was in the service nearly a couple of years, and I learned a good lesson in the service. Now I learned this.